9:35 on News Talk 1110 WBT. Bo Thompson, Governor Pat McCrory on the Pat McCrory Show, and time to go to the WBT hotline right now and welcome Congressman Richard Hudson. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. Great to be with you again.
All right, Richard, before we talk about the Stanley County cheerleader situation, I've got to talk to you real quick about Corey
Lewandowski.
Yeah. I watched those hearings yesterday. I mean, what a charade.
Absolutely. You know, the Democrats are on an impeachment process in search of a crime. I mean, don't you have to have a crime before you start impeachment?
Yeah, I don't understand it whatsoever. I'll tell you, it got so bad that both CNN and MSNBC went to other programming. And you know there's a problem there. Absolutely.
You know, Chairman Nadler changes the rules so he can do these charade hearings, and then he won't even follow his own rules. I mean, was it 5 minutes into the hearing, he went over his time limit on questioning, and the ranking Republican called him on it, and he said, I'll make a decision about how long I talk.
He looks weak.
The House rules.
He looks weak. Is he going to win his primary? Is that the main reason he's doing this? He's got a primary challenge on the left?
Well, that would explain what he's doing. I don't understand what he's doing. I mean, again, you have to have an underlying crime before you start an impeachment process, and you start an impeachment process by having a debate on the House floor, and then the House has to vote to start impeachment. Then you go to committee and go through this process. What they're doing is an absolute charade.
And Nancy Pelosi seems to have no control over it whatsoever.
No, she doesn't. And you know, it's strange because Pelosi is now a moderate inside the Democrat Party.
That doesn't mean that just means the definition of moderate has moved to the left.
That's right. That's right. She has not.
I used to be a moderate too, and now I'm told I'm a right winger. You know, remember?
Yeah.
Richard Hudson, speaking of interesting things going on in Stanley County, which is a part of your district, some cheerleaders were put on probation, and you're speaking out on this as a U.S. Congressman. What are you doing with regards to cheerleaders being put on probation for having a picture of them holding up a Trump sign that they didn't bring into the stadium, but someone else did?
Absolutely, and let's make clear what happened. They didn't run out on the field during the game. This wasn't part of the halftime show. This was after the game was over.
Oh, I didn't know it was after the game was over.
It was after the game, and this was American night, so all the students were encouraged to wear red, white, and blue and celebrate patriotism, celebrate our great country. And, you know, a couple of guys in the audience, students decided to bring a Trump 2020 banner. And you know what? That's their free speech right to do it. But after the game, they came down on the track, and some of the cheerleaders did take a picture. But this is after the game. This is their free speech right to do it. And I just think it's shameful that the North Carolina High School Athletic Association is trying to chill speech. They're trying to intimidate young people to not speak out.
Do you think that if a cheerleader would have kneeled during the game, that the North Carolina Athletic Association would be involved in this?
Well, it's funny you bring that up because they actually ruled on that and determined that it's okay for a student athlete to kneel for the national anthem. They won't put anybody on probation for that because they claim that's free speech. They've actually made that determination already. So the same organization that says it's okay for a student to kneel for the national anthem at the beginning of an athletic event can't take a photo after the event holding up a sign that they disagree with.
So as a U.S. Congressman, you'd really have no authority on how to deal with this, but what can you do? Are you just trying to, as a U.S. Congressman, use your position as saying this isn't right?
That's right. And, you know, I think I have a responsibility as an elected official in the way I conduct myself, but also I try to take every opportunity I can to encourage young people to get involved in the political process. And I don't care if you're Republican, Democrat, whatever political philosophy you have, I always encourage young people, get involved, learn about issues, support candidates and causes that you believe in. I think it's so critical for young people to get involved and speak their mind, and you know, just like I did as a student at Myers Park High School.
Yeah, well,
I got involved politically, but this is having the opposite effect. It's threatening students who take a political view.
Talking to Richard Hudson, Congressman from District Number 8, and of course the Stanley High School cheerleader picture, viral story that has gained traction in the last few days. Now, I was looking at your letter that you wrote, and also I'm curious, did your, I mean, these are constituents in your district, as the governor just pointed out, did anyone reach out to you about this?
Lots of folks have reached out. And of course, you know, this was national news a couple days ago, and continues to be because it's so outrageous. And so, I heard about the situation, and I felt like these students needed me to have their back. And so I'm speaking out to support their right to free speech. And look, if this were a Hillary Clinton banner, Barack Obama banner, if it was a banner for my opponent, that's fine.
And it's after the game. Now, if it was during the game, and they went up in front and held it as cheerleaders, I would probably go, that ain't right. But after the game and they didn't even bring the banner, it's ridiculous. Well, by the way, what does probation mean? Is this like the movie Animal House where you're put, the fraternities put on double secret probation? I mean, what's this mean?
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because I found also as I was digging that the Athletic Association has put your radio show on double secret probation. So
I knew it. I used to referee for the Athletic Association. It's probably payback for some of my 0.0. Well, you got a colleague in District 9 just sworn in last night, and that must have been a great honor, as it was for you. And what's your feelings about the two new Republican congressmen coming to North Carolina, one from District 3 and one from District 9?
Well, I think it's great for people in North Carolina, particularly people in the 9th District who haven't had a representative for, I don't know what it is, 150 days or something like that finally have a voice in Congress.
And your office has been doing a lot of work for that district. I know you and Billy Costangi and others have been actually doing extra work to fill in for that office being vacant.
Well, Billy does all the work. I get all the credit.
I realize that. I knew that. That's why I let Billy hear it.
Right. No, it's, I used to represent many of those counties, and I really care about those communities, and I know those communities, and so we have tried to help folks, and it's been a tough haul for folks who live in that district, but they now have a representative. I can tell you, Dr. Greg Murphy in the 3rd and Dan Bishop in the 9th are both experienced legislators at the state level. They're both very thoughtful, very intelligent people. They're going to be excellent representatives for the people in their districts, and it was exciting last night to be on the floor of the House and see them be sworn in as new congressmen.
Well, Richard, as we leave, I just need to remind you that I probably would have already been done with my second term as governor had I had a decent campaign manager in 2008. I just want to state that for the record. Do you want to say anything in response?
Well, if you'd been a better candidate, you could have won that first race, but, it was a heavy lift. But
he says, you're right, I hear your words.
You're out of order, Congressman. You are out of order.
Well, a lot of people appreciate the service you gave this state and wish you were still governor, but it's an honor to be with you this morning. Thanks for being a strong voice of common sense and reason here on the radio.
You're doing a good job, Richard Hudson. If you'd like to give us some feedback on what's going on in Stanley County, I just found out that happened after the game. Congressman Richard Hudson, and if you got feedback for us, give us a call at 704-374-3800, or if you have feedback about Corey
Lewandowski.
Yeah, whatever. Mm-hmm. Can you pronounce his name, Richard? Corey?
Lewandowski.
Yeah, whatever. I could never pronounce the names.
You know how fast he did that?
I know. Yes. After I'd give speeches, he was my campaign manager in 2008. Now, I'd give a speech, and afterwards he says, you mispronounced their name. I go, whatever. Some things never change, Congressman Hudson, and we're proud to have you as our U.S. Congressman.
Thank you. Great.